Hello. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday. No, it's not. I was looking at my map. It is, what is tonight? Sunday. It's Sunday. Good night. It's good evening. Man, let's start all that all over. Okay, we'll do that all over. Sorry about that. Here, let's do this. All right, welcome. It is Sunday. I was looking at the calendar because we have some big meetings this coming week. I was looking at Tuesday's meeting. Good evening. It is Sunday, the 19th of November. Sorry about the confusion there. This is the 82nd episode of the Political Spotlight. And the topic of tonight's show, of course, the hotly contested, controversial, widely discussed topic of solar farms in Delaware County. Here comes the discussion of the solar farms in Delaware County. This week, folks, it's going to be an interesting. Week. We have quite a few important meetings in Delaware County this week. Of course, we're going to start out with the Delaware County Commissioners Meeting on Monday, November 20th, 2023, the Delaware County Commissioners Meeting, and then Tuesday, November 21st, 2023, the Delaware County Council Meeting. Now, I do have to tell you, I don't have an agenda, nor have I seen an agenda for the commissioners meeting. And there is, of course, a slight chance that nothing solar related will be discussed Monday. I have no idea what they're going to do. They very well could discuss the solar ordinance Monday. It seems as if they would. During their last meeting, the solar ordinance, the solar topic, was not brought up during the meeting. It got brought up all the way at the end by the citizens that were there to speak on it. But then, after the citizens' concerns, it got brought up by none other than Cowboy Kid James King. And he brought it up for a little bit, and then he got butt hurt, and he was like, okay, I'm going to take my ball and go home. And then he shut the meeting down, and that was it. That was that. That was all she wrote. So that was it. The reason a lot of people were like, wait a minute, why didn't they discuss this in the meeting? And the reason being is there was not enough time between the planning commission meeting, where Cowboy Kid Shannon Henry sits as a planning commission member, and he completely just trashed all of the good work that the solar committee had spent the last year working on. He completely just gutted everything that they had said, and he I don't even know what he was doing. He was one of them that was in favor of that committee. He was one of them that really wanted there to be different voices on the committee, and to give people different avenues to be able to speak. And he wanted to hear from a lot of different people and get a lot of ideas back, like last year. And then after those people came together and had a very tumultuous beginning, and it went round and round and round. And after they took a good year and discussed everything that they wanted to discuss, he basically took a knife and carved everything out that they had done. And then he presented back an ordinance that was nothing like what they had presented. So I don't understand that. But from the time that they did that on Thursday until when the commissioners met on Monday, there was not enough time for there to be inclusion on the agenda. So they didn't discuss it. except for citizens who were there that felt upset by what happened Thursday, wanted their voices heard, so they spoke out, rightfully so. I praise them. And then James King did his part. This meeting, though, however, it's been 2 weeks, so there's been enough time for them to put, an ordinance together and say, we're going to vote on this. We won't know till we get there. So we just simply don't know. I would be highly shocked if they don't do something. I would be shocked if they don't. But listen, it's government, so you never know. I've been surprised by these people before. Then, okay, that's Monday. Commissioners meeting. Then on Tuesday, we will have the council. We'll have the council. They will get together. And for the longest time, we were not sure if they were going to do anything here or not, because we didn't know if it was going to actually show up on the agenda. But late last week, we did get notification that the solar topic was added to the agenda. So we will, without a doubt, be hearing the council discuss their side of the solar topic. Now, keep in mind, all that the council can do is rescind the tax abatement that they voted on back at the beginning of all of this. So that's all they can do. The commissioners can do several different things. The commissioners can ignore it, hope that it goes away. They're not going to do that. I guess they could technically ignore this meeting and not do anything, which I could see them doing that because they know that there are going to be people there. I could see them trying to wait people out, like, aha, you're going to show up at this meeting and we're not going to discuss it. And then you guys are going to get tired and you guys are going to go back to work and go back to your lives. And then we're going to sneak it through in some meeting that we have for 20 minutes on a Monday when it's 6 feet of snow and no one shows up. I could see them doing that. Okay. But they could ignore this coming Monday. They could essentially, they could put in place another moratorium. And so they could put another moratorium in place, which just says nothing is going to happen. Yeah, we're never gonna have 6 feet of snow again. That's right. I was thinking about winters of my youth. Winters of my youth when I lived in the mountains of Muncie. when it snowed 6 feet here sometimes. So they could put a moratorium in place, and they could put that moratorium in place where they could say, well, we're going to put a moratorium in place for 3 months. We're going to put a moratorium in place for 6 months. We're going to put a moratorium in place for a year. We're going to put a moratorium in place for 2 years, 10 years, whatever. They could do anything like that. They could vote on the ordinance, whatever the weird ordinance that they bring to the table. If it's what the planning commission approved and they're going to do that, they could just come and say, "Psh, here we go, vote it through, shut up, sit down." Because keep in mind, they're going to vote before the citizens get to talk. How stupid is this? Please, for the love of God, all local government, far and wide, Winchester, Randolph County, Wayne County, Richmond, Henry County, Newcastle, Madison County, Anderson, Elwood, all of the small towns, Indianapolis, Marion County, please follow along with a Muncie City Council meeting. Just go to the Muncie's Facebook page. Now make sure you're in Muncie, not Munis. Okay, go to the Muncie Facebook page and go look at one of their videos of how they conduct a council meeting. And for all of the craziness and all of the nonsense that Muncie's involved in, or has been involved in, or will be involved in, the one thing that I can say they do right is how they conduct their meetings. They do all of their housekeeping issues, approval of minutes, committee reports, yada, 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 praying, giving people the Citizen of the Month award, and blah, 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 blah. But when they get into the meetings, they talk about an ordinance, they hear from the people related to the ordinance or in support of the ordinance, and then they open it up to the citizens, then they vote. Okay? Everywhere else has everybody sit there silently being quiet as the elected officials talk about a few numbers on a page. They don't tell anybody what it is they're actually discussing, and then they vote. And then at the end of all of those votes, they say, now we'll hear from you for a period of 2 to 3 minutes where we're not really listening to you, and it doesn't matter what you say. So, who knows what they're going to do? I wish that on this very serious topic, the commissioners would say, we're going to read aloud this ordinance, and we're going to then have you guys come up and talk about it, then we'll vote. So they could vote on the thing. That we're still in what they could do. So what could they? They could ignore it. They could put a moratorium in place. They could vote on it. The other option they have, like Jackie said, is they could send it back to the Planning Commission. I assume they could also send it back to the Solar Ordinance Board that they created. But I don't even really know why they would do that, because when they did that last time, it didn't matter. They sent it to the planet. When it went to the Planning Commission gutted everything. So they could say, no, we're going to send it back to the Planning Commission. And that's what happened in Henry County. We got in this back and forth where the commissioners would do one thing, and then the Planning Commission would get it and they would do something, and they would send it back. And they got in this forever back and forth. It went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that could happen. Just trying to kick the can down the road a little bit. So that could happen. That being said, people of the Gaston area specifically, people of Delaware County, people anywhere, please feel free to come voice your opinion. Please, please do that. I know, Catherine, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. The other night we looked at Brando and I, when Brandon was on here the other night, we looked at the MRC meeting, and one of the things that I put that 20-minute little section out so people could see it. And one of the things that really bothered me was the fact that Ed Knatzer got up to talk. I'm not a fan of Ed Knatzer. I don't really care for Ed Knatzer. I think Ed Knatzer is one of the people that is involved in all the chaos. He's somebody that I scrutinize greatly. But he was there to speak, and listen, I was interested to hear what he had to say. He might have said things that might have led me down a path of finding something weird, strange out. So I want to hear what he's got to say. And those idiots cut him off after 2 minutes and then proceeded to bloviate for a total of 12 minutes between 3 of them. One of them spoke for 8.5 minutes, 8 minutes and 47 seconds to be exact. And then at the end, when all of the business was done, he proceeded to try to ask a question. And they're like, no, you cannot speak. We have protocols. Well, who put those protocols in place? No, so you've got to understand, we come from a government of people where they do not care to hear from you. They will do everything they can to not hear from you. And they make up these arbitrary rules so they don't have to hear from you. I'm telling you. And there will be people out there who will say, oh, Bilbrey, how dare you? What are you saying? What are you planning? Listen, I'm not planning anything. I'm just telling the people out there that are pro this or against this. I'm saying both ways, one way or the other. I don't know. If you're out there and you're the majority of the room, and there are people in there, meaning the elected officials, who are your subordinates. They work for you, work for us. And they're not doing what you want to be done, and it's going to go down a rabbit hole that you don't like. Listen, it's all political theater, folks. And if they're going to pull out the political theater, you can pull out the political theater too. If they're not going to participate in civilized government, then you can get uncivilized too. You can speak up. You can interject. You can derail the meeting. And, there'll be all the pearls clutchers and the Mike Joneses out there going, oh my God, what are you saying? I'm not talking about being violent. I'm not talking about being stupid. But listen, this is America. We come from a long line of protesters, folks. Let's have a sit-in. Chain ourselves to one of the commissioners. It'd take like 4 of us to chain around some of these guys. Have you seen them? I'm being facetious, obviously. I'm just saying, look, dump tea in a bay. Dress up like Indian. No, you can't say Indians. Dress up like, no, not. I don't even know what the word is right now, but crisscross applesauce and dump some tea in a bay. So anyhow, I don't know. I mean, I've shut down several meetings, and it's not the best way to do it. The outgoing too. I'm telling you, I call that one kid Smug Miller. I'm telling you, that kid's so smug. Ugh, I can't deal with him. I cannot deal with him. I so hope they get rid of him. So I don't know what's going to happen at the commissioners meeting. But at the council meeting, they are definitely going to discuss at least somewhat the tax abatement and the possibility that these two companies, one company or at least some part of any of the company, Invenergy or Hawthorne misled these councilmen in order to get their abatement. Now, someone asked me tonight, like, what exactly steps did they take to mislead them? And I was like, listen, I don't know exactly all of the points, but I can tell you one of the largest points. And that is, they said, and it wasn't them, I'll tell you who it was. It was Brad Bookout, said that in order for state law says, let's forget everything else. Let's forget the solar for a minute. Let's just talk about Brad Bookout and state law. State law says in whatever method they went through to get this tax abatement, that for this company or these companies to get this tax abatement in the way that they did, the land that they were going to be operational on had to be, I don't know the exact word, but we can say economically non-viable. All right, are you listening to me? They said that every inch of every land that they choose or are going to be covering with the solar fields, solar farms, was not viable economically. And they were like, what? What do you mean? We just tilled this up and we just grew food on this. So that's the biggest faux pas there. If this land is economically viable, then state law says they are not eligible for the tax abatement. Period. Nothing else needs to be said. Nothing else needs to be said. We don't need to get in this big back and forth, this big fight. If the land is economically viable, then we don't need to go any further. So that's going to be discussed on Tuesday.
I got a map I made for you.
Oh, yeah. Let's see that.
They say 22% of the land.
Okay.
Covered in solar. So that's a fifth of Delaware County. Imagine all that in red, buried in solar panels. And that 22% being economically unviable.
22% of the land. And so we're saying if we take all of the land of Delaware County and you divide it up, 22% is a fifth of the land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a fifth of the county.
That's interesting.
That terrifies me.
Yeah. That's interesting. I saw someone else, and I actually have not been able to find this. Someone said that they drove. For those of you that know Muncie, I know there's quite a few of you on here that don't, but several of you that do. Someone drove from Nebo and McGalliard out to 69 north to 28, or maybe they took 28 to 69 north, but basically they did the same thing that Kate was doing, and they were saying that it took all of the land, and it basically was all of it, and he was just like, there's no way. There is no way. getting a message here. I want to make sure this is someone connected to the fight here. I want to make sure. Give me a second. I'm not missing something I need. Okay. Okay. We need to back up. It's 35,000 acres is 22% of farmland. So it's not 22% of total land acreage of Delaware County. So we would have, I'm sure, someplace we could go.
That makes me feel a little better, but not much.
I mean, yeah. That's the thing. That's the thing. No, right. And Annie, so that's the thing. That's the thing. So it's not 22% of just all acreage in Delaware County. It's 22% of the available farm acreage. And so while technically that's better than the picture, it's still not completely better. Now, I want to read something, and this is an interesting take that a friend of mine had, and to me, I mean, I thought that this was pretty smart. And this is for the people out there that are not. I'm not anti-solar or anti-wind or anti-green energy. I am not that. That, Annie, is a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how many farmers it is. I don't believe so. %22 of Delaware County's farmland is. No, what they're saying is.
Give me a second. I can do the math. So Delaware County, according to the county auditor, has 114,000 acres of that. If they're saying it's 35,000 acres they want to put under, then the percentage is wrong. Because 22% of the acreage that I'm finding from the county auditor is 25,000 acres. So it's more like 33%.
I'd have to get the we'll have to get the documentation and look.
0.29 be 29%. So a third of all farmland is what they're wanting to put under solar. If we go off the acreage, they're saying. Yeah, the numbers are confusing and misleading and all this, but they jumped from 2% to 22%.
Yeah,
that's insanity.
Right. That was the big thing. It went from forget those numbers for a second. The fact that it went from 2% to 22% was a pretty big jump. Jackie, I will come back to answer that question here in a minute about the MRC. That's in the back of my mind. I'm going to write it down right here so I don't forget it. But I do want to answer that. Give me a second. I want to read this to you here. And like I said, I'm not anti anything. Let's just think about overall coverage and whatnot, okay? And this is from a friend of mine who had wrote this, and I don't know if they're going to say this. Please read to the. Okay, yeah, right here it is. Please read to the end. This is from a friend of mine, Amber. Please read to the end. How many of you have a tattoo? This is a hypothetical, but if you feel like answering in the comments, please do. Yada yada yada. Out of those of you that have a tattoo, how many of you walked in for your first appointment and said, "You know what? I want you to go ahead and tattoo 22% of my body. I'm going to guess that number is very likely, very few, likely even zero. Why is that? Well, for starters, it's likely cautionary in nature. Even if you know you eventually want 22% of your body covered in ink, you'd probably like the time to find out. How is this going to affect my body? Am I going to have a reaction to the ink? Do I want to go back to this artist? Was the shop clean enough for me? Or will this be something I want 20 or 30 years from now? This situation is incredibly unlikely to happen unless, of course, you replace the canvas with Delaware County farmland and the tattoos with solar panels. Instead of dipping our toes into solar slowly, the suggestion on the table currently is to allow for the coverage of 22% of Delaware County's farmland to be with solar panels. No small-scale trial, no long-term studies to know how this could affect the local farm economy, food production, quality of life, etc. No vetting of the company doing the work. We have absolutely no way of knowing what solar could or would do for or against Delaware County, its farms, its residents. So why would we suggest increasing the allowable acreage under panel from 3,500 to 35,000? 3,500 acres versus 35,000 acres. This must be reconsidered. Must! And because the Muncie City Council is the only governing body that allows for comment before an ordinance is approved or denied, I felt compelled to post this story tonight. If you've read this far, thank you, and please share. If you are free in the morning and would like to show the commissioners that moving forward with this is not okay, the meeting is at 9 a.m. in the county building, downtown Muncie. It's at 100 West Main Street. It's on the 3rd floor. It's at 9 a.m. Much like Clinton Hummel said, it's going to be a 9 a.m. meeting. Well, folks, it's a 9 a.m. meeting during a work week when the majority of normal people are at work. Shannon Henry, Commissioner, made the motion to increase the acreage to 35,000. Planning Commission approved the revised ordinance, which included the numerous changes to the Solar Committee's recommendations. Yeah, Jackie, that's what blows me away. Now, I want to let you know that I think as many citizens as possible should attend this in person. I personally think that they should have moved this meeting to the new Justice Center out at Tillotson and held it in the big auditorium and put it up on the stage so they could have streamed it there and had enough room. But they didn't because they're small-minded. I hope there's so many people that show up to this thing that they line up down the hallway and around the corner, and it freaks the commissioners out, because that's what's going to make a difference one way or the other. I don't know, Annie. That's a pretty good question. Are there corporate farms in Delaware County? I would have to think that there are. Maybe not many, but I would have to think that there are 1 or 2, 3, maybe more. I'd have to think that there are at least a couple. For those of you that cannot attend the meeting tomorrow morning, I will be live streaming the meeting right here on this YouTube channel, and it will be live streaming under the banner for the Delaware County Commissioners. Then on Tuesday, the 21st, there will be a second meeting in the same room, in the same area, at the same time, 9 a.m., 24 hours later, for the council. And people should show up for that as well. But for those that can't, we will be live streaming it right here on this channel under this banner, the Delaware County Council Meeting, under the thumbnail. So please look for both of those. Look for that. Let me go back up here. What did this is good. Just a reminder, the solar farm in Henry and Randolph County has stopped building because the panels coming in are being made by Chinese kids, and the feds are not allowing these panels to come into country. Now, the Munis stir, that is very, 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 very interesting. And just so I'm clear, because I love the humor, that's a real statement. That's not like a Muncie Stir Press City of Munis parody. That's a real statement. I mean, that's like a real honest to God statement that there is an issue currently right now where they're not allowing that to happen. I mean, is that real?
Well, and the irony of that is
Okay.
that they said that when they were at Randolph County pushing for the solar, they said that they were not going to be using Chinese solar panels.
Yeah.
So they lied.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't trust these companies any further than you can throw them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when was that, Kate? Hold on, come back up here. We had that fight. That was like in 1920, 21-ish.
It was in 2020 that
Okay.
they initially passed the ordinance.
I remember specifically going to a commissioners meeting on the morning of July 21st, 2020 for this, because I made a comment that I felt like I could jump out a window, but okay. So yeah, and they voted it through. I mean, it was a very contentious fight in Randolph County.
Yeah.
And the commissioners there just said, we'll do what we want.
Well, they basically let the company write their ordinance for them.
They did. They did. I remember that.
For the wind and the solar.
Yes.
And then, there's a thing in there that says that, 1 mile around a town here in Randolph County is off limits. No solar there. And if they wanted to put solar in an area, they would have to go and get an exemption, a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And within a year, they were in there wanting to put them into MODOC. And they passed it. So they've set a precedence that here in Randolph County now, they could go to the zoning board and they could basically say, we want to stick them in the middle of the golf course. They're going to lease us the land, so we're putting them in the golf course. And they would have to approve it. They've set a precedence.
That's crazy.
So it's ridiculous. I am all for green energy and wind and solar, but not at the cost of our farmland, not at the cost of the neighbors, because these things make noise, they create heat bubbles. I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved with these that doesn't come out that really affects the neighbors that are abutted to these. So I have a problem with them.
And you said something last night. We were talking because, look, like we've said, I'm all for individuals having rights, and I'm a pro Second Amendment, pro property rights. I don't.
They're not letting more solar panels in. They're having a hard time getting panels to put up. They're having to resource.
Yeah, I just found a thing while we were talking here that said U.S. officials have begun blocking the import of solar panels that they believe could be products of forced labor in China, implementing a recent ban that could slow construction of solar energy projects throughout the United States. Industry executives and analysts said solar panels from at least 3 Chinese companies have been targets in recent weeks, and a Customs and Border Protection spokesman confirmed that by email that the agency has made a number of detentions of products under the import ban. So, I mean, that story is out there. If you Google it, you can find it, and it's under the Washington Post, and it's definitely reputable sources. So it is out there.
Yeah.
But last night we were talking, and for the people who say, well, it's my property and I want to be able to do what I want to do on my property, and what I want to do on my property, because I very much agree with that. That's one of the things that we've talked about.
Oh yeah, that's very libertarian.
And all of the noise ordinance things and whatnot. But you brought up a good point. Like, I can own a gun and I can own as many guns as I want, but if I shoot you with that gun and I take your life with that gun, I'm not going to be allowed to do that. If I do, I'm committing a crime, and they deal with that.
But why are you committing a crime?
What do you mean?
What's the crime?
Well, yeah, because I'm killing you. I'm murdering you with that weapon.
You're taking away someone else's rights.
Taking your life. Yeah, taking your life. So that's very much the libertarian belief, that your rights only extend up to the point that they're interfering with someone else's rights. So the thing that you had talked about last night was the fact that, we're neighbors, and, I'm wanting, I live out here and I want, peace and solitude. And what are you doing?
Oh, well, I decided that every night at 10 o'clock, I'm going to have a bunch of my buddies over, and they're all bringing their muscle cars. And we're going to park them in the yard, and we're going to do donuts in the yard. We're going to soak the yard down. We're going to have music blasting and lights blaring, and, everybody's going to be with their engines revving and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to have a great time. We're going to do this every night from 10 to 3. It's my thing. And it's my property, so I should have the right to do this.
Right. And so most people's not going to be like, okay, yeah, that's your property. Have at it.
And everyone's invited, man. Okay.
Joey's going to be there.
Yeah, Joey will be here. So,
but I got to be at work at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I'm probably not going to be cool with that, and probably would.
There will be alcohol.
Yes, Linda, did you hear that?
There will be alcohol.
I would probably call the police.
Why? But it's my property.
You see, right there, that then in comes the problem, because your property is being used however you want it, but now that use is wafting into my rights to sleep.
Yes. And so that's the problem with the solar and the wind, is the infringement on the neighbors, because you think that solar is quiet. It is not.
I was going to say, Clinton, can you tell us how how solar and wind can impact your life? I mean, if there is one person whose life has been most negatively affected by wind and solar, let me tell you, it is Clinton Hummel. I mean, it has wrecked his life for the last several years.
I have a friend that he's next to solar, right?
I think he's next to Clinton. Are you still here? I think he's next to both of them.
Oh, okay. He's next to
I think he's got both of them going.
And I have a friend who is between 5 windmills.
Okay.
And they're set up what the ordinance set dates as far as distance from property lines and all that stuff. She has the constant noise of that from 5 of them.
Well, not even just the noise of the blades, but the solar does this, or the wind comes down, and at the bottom there's like a great big generator box connected to the side of that panel, and it makes that thing's going, but it's also going.
It's both.
It's going. It's making a hellacious noise.
It makes a hellacious noise that you can hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then she has on 3 sides of her house, because the blades of the windmill moving. She has shadow flicker in her house
Yes.
the entire time there's daylight. So the inside
that
her
would
house,
lead
it's
me
like
to
there's a damn
kill somebody.
strobe light.
Yeah.
So she's dealing with migraines from the light and from the noise and not being able to sleep. And he lives underneath the transmission lines, and those are loud as hell too. So these farms, while I agree you should be able to use your property how you want, the neighbors need to be taken into consideration with these. And these ordinances need to be written in such a way that they are protecting the neighbors. So they need at least 100-foot setbacks to deal with the noises and the heat bubbles that solar farms create. And they also need to be at least that distance for property values, because it kills property values for neighbors too, even though they say it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of lies.
I
think she has cats.
The thing is, it's not all the time. It's not an all the time noise, but it's at random times.
Yeah.
You know, Muncie Stir Press. You know what, though? You know what you could do, though, Muncie? Munis, I mean.
Yes, a property value guarantee. They need that.
Yeah, right.
In the ordinances too.
Yeah.
These things are not designed to protect. They protect the solar company, the wind company, and the people whose land they're putting it on. And the neighbors get fucked. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, you know,
and I see a lot of different counties throughout this, the whole United States are putting 10% caps on the amount of eligible property that can be put under solar or wind. Yeah, isn't that nice?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
If you're going to put in solar, you need to put it on every damn building in the county that's owned by the government.
Well, you know, I was talking to Jackie Fisher the other day, and we were talking about, like, first of all, I want to make sure everyone is aware. I was not against the solar. I was not against the solar farm, solar field at Chevy. I was against Dan Ridenhour's version of that because it was a cluster, and it was harmful to Muncie. The money deal was harmful to Muncie. They were going to be putting these solar. The only thing worse than putting all this crap in is it's like if they were going to be putting this in and everyone up there was going to be getting free power the rest of their lives, and they were going to have to not pay, and they were going to be made millionaires, and everyone was going to be, at least people are getting stuff, but we're not getting anything from this. The thing that was going on Chevy's plant was not benefiting Muncie, and Muncie was paying for it, so it made no sense.
Oh, Jesus
so
Christ.
It has to make sense. It has to make sense. Also, the
finances on that were shit.
Absolutely.
That and the fact they weren't going to clean up a brownfield before they went in and trounced and dumped shit on it.
Right. That property, the property where they were going to put Whale Sustainable out at Warner Gear. What's Jackie say here? I believe the revised ordinance that the Planning Commission approved changed the wording of solar farms to solar facilities. See, that's interesting there because Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine. Thank you very much. The thing is, there was that I know a lot of people are saying, and it makes sense that, you know, they're growing. They're looking at these being farms. What's the benefit of changing the name from solar farm to solar facility? Is there some sort of benefit, or I don't get why they would? I mean, why are they doing that? I don't know enough about this to know why the change of the name would matter.
From farm to facility, is referring to the scale of the project.
Just makes it much bigger.
And the possibility of needing to put in substations.
Okay. Many of the solar panels are being held in customs because they're subpar equipment. Most of them locally come from China. 15-year life expectancy, 30-year bond. Yeah, that's insane. See, that's insane. 60. All right, hold on. I got to Google what he's saying. He's saying 4. Do a little Google Earth and see what we can find here. This is going to be crazy. Pulling up the terrain part of it. Come on, damn it. Okay. Is this showing us? Wait a minute. What are we looking at here? All right, let me show you what we've got. You're going to have to tell me if this is right. Surely this isn't what you were telling me. Is there something else I'm supposed to be looking at here? Look, it's horrible. What am I looking at here? This might be old. I don't know. I'm trying to find out. I mean, this is definitely not now. Yeah, this is definitely not now. See if I can find out how to get now on it. Okay, let me see. This might be it. Damn it. How? What period? Send me an aerial in Messenger. Yeah, do that. Well, now we know what it used to look like. there. So hopefully we're getting ready to be blown away. I mean, it's sad. I guess I would rather it look like this. Here's what it used to look like. Yeah. All of those areas are towers, and they did those towers everywhere. But wait till you see it here in a minute, Joey, because it normally says what year. They must have went to old we'll stand by here and wait for picture. Those big fans help with global warming, don't they? Yeah, I think they do. I think yeah, look at that's weird. I never knew that they were all connected like that. That's funky. Did you know that, Kate? That they were all connected like that? What do they make something? We look at it from why would they connect it like that? What kind of pattern is it?
It's connecting them to collect the electric that they're generating.
Is there some kind of line under there then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's funky. Huh. Actually, that makes sense. It just looks funky. Oh, so for maintenance. I'm gonna try to look one more thing up. I'm on another screen, Kate. So if he jumps on in here or if someone says something, tell me. I'm trying to find out if I can find a newer picture. File size, drive, time. Used to you could toggle back and forth. And get like different timelines. This is riveting. I did watch one of those fans break in real time though. One really frosty morning. I was driving south on 27 and one of the blades was going, and then it like all of a sudden looked like it just stopped. And here we go. And then when that happened, one of the blades sheared off. I've got a picture of it somewhere. I don't know if a bird hit it or something. Get back to where. All right, so this is where he told us to look, and he just sent the new picture. Oh shit. Okay. So it is quite a bit of difference. So, JD Internet. Okay, so what this would be essentially looking at would be like, oh, that's weird. It doesn't let you do it. Like that. Okay, yeah, right here. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at. So, okay. So what we're looking at right here is that property, everything in this brown field, everything in the brown field right here is now this. All of that is solar. Now, understand the end of the T road you just had up. Let's go back and see. And I want to make sure that we're aware. Let me see here. All the way to the end of the T road. All of this. And I want to make sure that we're aware that there are properties in Gaston where they are literally talking about. Let me get back to his picture. Like they would be covering, it would be encroaching even further in on his property, where like they would be over here and they would be up in the front area here. So it's like there are properties literally in Gaston where they're talking about totally enclosing the home, the property off in solar. And again, I'm not pro or against. I'm just saying we need to know if this company was. We need to know a couple of things. Number one, what did Brad Bookout know? When did he know it? Okay. What did Brad Bookout know and when did he know it? What did the commissioners know and when did they know it? What did the council members know and when did they know it? What of that information was truthful? What of that information was not truthful? What kind of misleading information, if any, were they given? And again, all of that is second place information. The very first thing I believe that needs to be asked is, did you all in fact say, and I was there when it was said, did you say that this land is not viable, not economically viable? And if that is in the state law that for a requirement to get this tax abatement, then we're pulling the tax abatement back because we're not going to break the law here in Delaware County. Just absolutely, absolutely. You know, so, Minister, you have said a mouthful there. And I'll tell you, it's already happening. You know, Mike Jones, who is the father-in-law of Brad Bookout, is already taking his shots. Of course, Amber put her piece out saying, look, and listen, Amber is cautious in her approach to things. She fights for what she believes in, but Amber's not like a loudmouth like I am. She's not going to go out there and just, you know, go in like a bull in a china shop. She's not going to do things the same way. I mean, she's got a little bit more poise than you know, me or whatever. And I'm not saying, I'm not making fun of her. I'm saying she's probably better for it. That being said, she's not crazy against or pro. She's just saying we need to look at this. And what's the very first thing that happens? What's the very, very first thing that happens when she puts up her comment? Mike Jones gets on her wall and says, "This issue will be resolved. Quit fear-mongering." What do you mean? This issue will be resolved. Quit fear-mongering. Mike Jones, you lick stamps in a side room, used to be part-time for the commissioners. They somehow brought you aboard full-time for that. It's like, this is the land of technology, except for the Delaware County mailroom. We still are doing the mail the same way they were doing it when the Pony Express was around. I don't understand that. Look at this. This is probably blasphemy for Mike. Look at these stamps I got here. You know what? This is the craziest thing to me. I pull these stamps off here, and they're sticky on the wax side. I stick them to their envelopes, and I mail them out. I don't even need anybody to lick these. Look at this. I just replaced Mike Jones. Right here. Here's Mike Jones' replacement. How much money? Think about this. If Delaware County used this, we wouldn't have people committing hit and run accidents in county-owned vehicles. Look at this. Wow. All right, Mike Jones. That's what I call these things. Mike Jones, I'm going to put you back in your box. All right. Well, we did that. So now, getting back to the seriousness, he's already on there doing the thing because, look, I gotta respect him a little bit because he's fighting for family. You know, Brad Bookout's money feeds his daughter. Brad Bookout's money, puts a roof over. I get all that, and I try not to get into the personal stuff. But look, when everybody's personally connected in politics, it is what it is. So when did these people know it? How did they know it? And did they mislead us? And if they did, well, then I'm sorry, we have nothing to do. Hawthorne Solar's proposed 75 MW solar project located in Delaware County, Indiana. The project will consist of interconnected solar panels fixed directly on top of existing farmland. Yeah, and look at that. Yeah, Julie Johnson. Yeah. Anyone that thinks that this is a good idea is your enemy. That's absolutely true. Oh, shoot. Just a few dollars, honestly, that Mike Jones got there. The project will encompass approximately 520 acres of agricultural land, which can be returned to farming after 40 years. Construction of the facility is expected to begin within the next 2 years and will take about 12 months. And I don't know nearly as much about the Hawthorne project as I do the Invenergy situation that's going on in the Washington Township situation. So they're the ones that Invenergy is the one that had the meeting up at the Cornerstone Center for the Arts, and I went up there, and Invenergy is the one that really came in and is doing all the mega work. They're the ones that are the face of, in my opinion, this fight. I don't know nearly as much about the Hawthorne Energy. Well, in all fairness, again, Annie, you're talking about Hawthorne. So that's Hawthorne, the Invenergy company, who's doing the Meadow Forge, is the one that's the I don't want to say bad guy in this, but is the bad guy in this. Hawthorne, I don't know. Their deal could be a smaller deal, but it's Invenergy, the one that's kicked off the deal up in Gaston. And again, I want to put this up here for folks so you guys can see. Monday, November 20th, 2023, 9 a.m., Delaware County Commissioners Meeting. You need to go. You need to be there. If you can't, it'll be live streaming right here. Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. Again, you need to go. You need to be there, but if you can't, it'll be live streaming right here. Look for these two banners, thumbnails on YouTube. Delaware County Commissioners Meeting, Solar Farm Discussion. Delaware County Council Meeting, Solar Farm Discussion. There's where they are. I also want to remind you guys that we've not talked about this in a while, but we've not talked about this since the fight was actually going on last year. There is a solar crisis in Delaware County Facebook page. If you're interested and you want to look and see how you can be a part of this, if you want to find more information out about it, if you want to go to Facebook, there is a solar crisis in Delaware County, Indiana. We say no to the solar farms, and they've got a lot of information on here. Here's the agenda for the 21st. Review of status of Meadow Forge and Hawthorne tax abatement resolutions. Meadow Forge is in Vinergy. Oh yeah. There's some good information here that you guys might. Oh, hey, look at that picture. There's some information on here that could be of interest to you all.
If I'm not mistaken, they've been using Randolph County as a poster child for why not to do these.
Absolutely. They what? Say that again.
They've been using Randolph County as the poster child for why not to put these things in.
Well, and Madison County got in a weird spot because they were doing it, then they stopped and they put this great big moratorium in place, and it was this great big blunder in Madison County. And so they've kind of been looking to both of those areas and saying like, hey, look, right, because right there's specifically Madison County. But yeah, Randolph County did this and it was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been good for the people of Randolph County. Yeah, here's pictures from MODOK. Let's look at this. Here's pictures from MODOK. You know, I don't know. I'm not like I love looking at the beauty of the countryside and looking out in the middle of nowhere and stuff, but I'm a city boy, like through and through. I'd be just fine in New York. I lived in London, England, and did just fine. I'm fine cooped up next to, give me the tallest buildings and as much cement as you got. You know what I mean? So I look at this and I'm not immediately like, oh my God.
Anybody who raises livestock, they know this. But,
you know, but I'm also not, you know, like if I was a country person, I would have a problem with this. If I was someone who, you know, I've got a problem with it if there is any kind of corruption, backroom deals, silence, bullshit going on. I've got a problem with this, period. If there's games being played, I'm not for it. If there's misleading information, I am not for it. There's government corruption and nonsense, afoot, then burn it all down. I'm not for any of this. I'm not for anything that's, like that. And I feel for these people, I don't know.
Oh, wait, go back. You can
So,
see their screen that they're putting up. The trees, they're supposed to put up a trees for a screen. They're this big.
Yeah.
It's going to take 15 years before they can hide those damn things.
Yeah. Well, are they in here? I don't even know that
they're along the road line.
Okay.
That they put in trees.
That's laughable.
To screen it.
Oh yeah, to screen it.
There's a video somewhere in this one, I think, where it shows what happens when it rains.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it basically floods across the street because the runoff creates a glorious mess.
Let's look at this.
Yeah, that's the other thing they don't tell you. Fire departments need to get specialized equipment to be able to fight the fires in these things.
Concerns over lithium-ion battery fires.
Mm-hmm.
Residents press play, damn it. Well, I guess we're not going to get to see it.
They're all supposed to be planting native plants underneath these things. Well, the heat bubble and the shade, they're not going to grow.
Heat bubble. Talk about that for a second, Kate, because I don't know if everybody knows about that.
Okay, so the solar panels are reflective. So they absorb sunlight, but they're also reflecting it, and they create what they call a heat bubble or a heat island around them. So if you're within a certain area around them, your home is going to be hotter, significantly hotter. So your cooling costs are going to be much higher. So that's one of the concerns, and part of the reason why they talk about why the setbacks are so important. They need to be a certain distance from these so your home isn't affected by this heat that reflects off of these things. And it can be up to 15 degrees hotter near these things. So you're going to cook any plants that you try to grow.
That's crazy.
Well, the problem with these is that if they catch on fire, there's no way to get in there to fight it.
Yeah, here, I think we finally got something pulled up here.
Well, that's what the windmills are for. They're to move the heat bubble around. Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, they need to put them on buildings, on businesses, on government buildings. Put them there. They'll do the job. You don't see a lot of solar farms in like Germany. And where you see the solar farms, they're growing hops because hops can take the heat. Hops likes the heat. And Germany's all about their beer, so they take advantage of that. But where you see solar panels are on top of homes and buildings and government buildings. I mean, every house has got solar panels on it, just about.
Yeah.
They do increase atmospheric temperatures. There's a lot of problems that go along with these things. And while I support them, we need to do them smart and not just plonk them in the middle of a bunch of farmland.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're not.
I think
moving.
I'm frozen.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Stand by. We've got craziness going on.
There you go. Now you're not frozen again.
I'm not frozen.
No.
Well, I've got the beach ball of death.
Well, the other thing Germans do to help offset the fossil fuels is they burn their trash.
Yeah.
If you can recycle it, you have to recycle it. And if it's not recyclable, it gets burned, and they burn it to make power. So they're avoiding trying to burn fossil fuels as much as possible. So they offset that with that, and then they offset with nuclear, which I don't know if it's any better, but you know.
Okay, here's what I was trying to pull up.
Oh, I'm going to go away.
Now, a hidden camera Fox 5 I-Team investigation takes the shine off some big promises made to Georgia homeowners about solar power.
Talk about frustrating. Some solar customers ended up spending even more for power than they did before.
No, this is not what I was
Randy Travis.
All right, screw it. I can't find what I was getting at. The bottom line of the matter is, folks, here's the deal. There was a fire. It didn't look cool. And I don't want to mess with fire. I don't want to mess with electricity. I don't want to mess with fire and electricity. I don't want to mess with fire and electricity and solar power. And I'm not sure that you would want to either. Ding. Damn it. I don't know why we're freezing up here. Okay, so the bottom line is there's a meeting on Monday. There's a meeting on Tuesday. If you're interested in being for or against this, you should go 9 a.m. both places at the Delaware County government, the old Delaware County building downtown, 100 West Washington. It's the 3rd floor. I would say try to come a little early because I'm hoping that there's going to be a crowd, but you know, you never know. So the meeting starts at 9. To me, early would be anywhere by 8:30 or so. Just FYI. So I'll be on the lookout for that. We will be live streaming it all right here. And then, of course, tomorrow evening at 9 p.m., we will have a recap. We will also be live streaming Tuesday's meeting. And then Tuesday night at 9 p.m., we will have a recap. I also want to let you know, besides the solar energy, there's a Winchester City Council meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. that I am planning on attending because I'm waiting to see if Lisa Friend is actually going to be there or not. She should be. I don't see any reason why she wouldn't be. I also don't want to see her there. I hope she just resigns, but we'll see what happens. And we'll be ready to report that back to you as well. All right, folks. I know it's a little early, but we're going to go ahead and cash this in. It's a Sunday night. I'm going to let you guys get back to it. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Have a great start to your work week tomorrow. And be prepared to take on some government craziness starting at 9 a.m. If you cannot attend and you want to live stream it, it'll be right here on YouTube and on my social media on Facebook and Twitter at 9 a.m. right here. Not on this exact channel, but you know, it'll be up. I've already, no, I'm getting ready to make the link. So if after I make the link, you can go in and can notify me and it will just send you a notice when we go live. So you can go in and do that straight away. That will be up in the next hour. So be looking for that and they'll be just waiting for you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much. Hey, if you could do us a favor, go in and hit like on this video. And if you haven't shared this with your friends and family, maybe consider doing so. We would like that. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and do all that fun stuff. And we will see you back here at 9 a.m. We'll see you in just 12 hours, a little less than 12 hours from now. And then we'll see you in 24 hours, a little less than 24 hours from now. And then we'll see you basically in 12 hours from then. And then in 12, the next 4 times we see each other will be like in 12-hour increments. So that'll be fun. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good night. and we will see you back again real soon. Good night. Happy Turkey Days coming soon. Go-to meaning trunk shrimp. Happy Trunk Shrimp Day, everybody. Go trunk shrimp, $5 per pound, 20 for 3 pounds at Gold King. The Trunk Shrimp King, and right now in Tennessee Hall. I'm gonna need to tune in tomorrow morning. Everybody always knows Monday morning trunk shrimp's best. Trunk shrimp. Alva, turn the lights out when you leave.